You're on mute. There we go. What to do, what to do, what to do. Hello, beautiful people of the interweb. It's me, Mo Malele, and welcome to the amazing. I'm dubbed it amazing because it is my show. Gotta start somewhere, right? But welcome to the Mo Malele Show, the show where we find really, really amazing people that are actually kind of ordinary, but are doing amazing and extraordinary things. And we help give them a platform to talk about that ordinary stuff, well, the extraordinary stuff that they're doing in their little corners of ordinary somewhere in the world. We give them a platform to talk about that, highlight it, showcase it, and then we talk to them about how we can support that action. But today, it's going to be a bit of a twist. I'm actually all alone today. I'm normally all alone. I do like my space. Sorry, not on a speed eating session over here, but I do like long walks on the beach, a bit of whiskey at dinner. But that's another discussion. That's not this show. But yeah, so I'm actually on my own. We've been doing this for a month now. This is actually our 4th episode. We've got 3 previous episodes we've already published. And so I thought, let's actually take a step back to actually celebrate the fact that, we've actually been doing this for a whole month, and the power of starting something from nothing, committing to it, and just doing it. So I'm actually really stoked that I've been able to keep this going for a month. It sounds really small, but it's very important to celebrate the little victories. Those catapult you to bigger victories. Consistency is key. So yeah, it's our 4th episode. The next time I see you, it will be a whole new month. There'll be 4 months left to the end of this year. We're going to talk a bit about what you guys have, what you guys are thinking about. How do you make the most of the rest of the year? But before we get into all of that stuff, this show is not going to be as long as some of the other episodes have been. But it's going to be an interesting. I like pushing boundaries, and shaking things up. So expect to see more of me just kind of talking to myself, but also kind of like talking to you and looking on the room like I'm actually talking to other people. So expect more of that every now and then as I shake things up a little bit, right? But today, what I have in store for you guys is I want to, look back at some of the episodes we've had, the amazing people we've had, and just take one last, shot at giving them a platform and highlighting some of the key things that stuck out for me that I'm also still processing and I'm continuously thinking about from those discussions that we had. I'm also going to be chatting to you guys about what you have to look forward to as like I keep saying, this has been the first month of the show. So as things move on, things are going to get better. Backgrounds are going to change. One time I might be doing this stuff upside down. I don't know, production's also crazy. They come up with all sorts of stuff they ask us to do here. But it's all above board, really, but hey, we try. And then lastly, I'm going to close off with Thought of the Week. That's probably like my favorite part of the show, the Thought of the Week, where I give you guys a little bit of, the bite-sized bits of my brain. And this time there'll be a bit of a twist to the Thought of the Week, because I'm going to caveat and preamble the Thought of the Week with some poetry. And then from that, we're going to take a nugget from the poetry and expand on it. And hopefully I get to blow your guys' minds a little bit on this wonderful day. So let's get into it. Let's get stuck right into it. So we've had 3 episodes. Episode 1, we had the wonderful Esteemed Buerta and Peter Hingston, the duo. They're always together. They're my production team over here as well. The co-founders of Explore ProTech Entrepreneurial Haven. And we had them over. They were actually our first guinea pigs. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful episode to actually start off the show with, right? And if you see on their YouTube, it's on my YouTube as well. I've titled it, It Takes a Village to Raise a Business. And that's really the key nugget from that show, right? It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise anything, really, to start something from nothing and then sustain it once it becomes something. Actually takes more than just you. It takes a village to raise a business. So stop doing it alone. Get in touch with those wonderful people. Check out that episode to find out more nuggets on how to build that village for yourself, to build whatever it is you're trying to build. Then episode 2, we covered with Chris Colby, who, by the way, I'm the only one who can call him Christopher Colby, and he doesn't think that he's about to get a scolding. So, I've got like first dibs there. And he's categorically said it. I am the only one who has the right to do it. So I kind of feel really special. Well, more special than I normally do. But yeah. But yeah, we spoke to Chris, and he's a marketing consultant. You guys know all of that. And he's really passionate about bringing businesses back to the basics and helping them craft their narrative, tell their stories. As you guys know, people do business with people. Selling is selling. It's story. Selling is storytelling. So even if you're not a salesperson, you gotta at least have some story to back your business up and to put out there. And that's really what he does. He's amazing at doing that work. And a lot of people who have worked with him have great testimonials from, just the Amazon that is his brain. So get in touch with him, Chris Colby. His details are also on that YouTube channel. And watch the episode. Like I said, it's on 2 YouTube channels. So watch it twice just to support a homie's. And then lastly, we had hashtag Freelance Matthew, Freelance Matthew, Freelance Matthew, Freelance Matthew. You have to watch the show to get the joke, but just like go with it, homie, go with it. So we had Matthew Iola. I'm still trying. You know how much I tried to pronounce his name as I was prepping for this show? I still don't think I'm getting it right, but hey, we're trying. But Matthew is a copywriter. He's a freelance copywriter, specifically in the health and fitness space. Yeah. And he's very passionate about putting the right information out there for people. And he actually has a fitness background himself. The next time he's on the show, he'll certainly be doing a couple of push-ups and sit-ups on the show. We'll make sure that he's properly equipped for that the next time he's on the show. But check that out. Those have been the 3 episodes, you know what I mean? Go back, watch them, support their hustles, get in touch with them. It costs you nothing. Remember in episode 1, what we talk about? It costs you nothing to have a virtual coffee with someone. Like literally, it costs you nothing. Maybe except for the actual smart device and the data and the Wi-Fi and the infrastructure. Don't think of it that way because then there'll be too many barriers. Just book the coffee. That's so good. Now, what do you guys have to look forward to for the rest of the show? We're really trying to, own YouTube. For those of you who don't know, one of our missions here at Explore ProTech Entrepreneurial Haven is to eventually own YouTube with all of the best content for entrepreneurs across the globe, because we are a global networking tribe of like-minded, like-hearted people. And if we say we're going to own YouTube, we actually kind of have the footprint to do it because we're going global. So as we move forward, we're going to try and improve the production quality of the show. And as we move forward, we're going to be doing some competitions and giveaways. Imagine if we get to a point where we can actually do like them Oprah-style giveaways, where it's like, everybody, look under your seats! And then like, you see like something like, imagine if maybe if there was something, right? Under you look under your seat. First, I kept so I'm laughing at myself, like it's insane. Where was I? Yeah. But we want to do a couple of competitions just to, build the community, get you guys engaging, get to know some of you guys and connect just the people of the interweb for tuning in to the show, wherever from the world that you're connecting. And so you guys can look out for that kind of stuff. Wouldn't it be cool if at some point we actually build the show to a point where it's big enough that I can actually have like a list of most favorite things for the summer? Like how dope would that be? I mean, a girl can dream, like most things for the summer, knowing me, I'll probably have like the weirdest like stuff that I'd like find from the dingiest of places as like my must-haves for the summer. It'll probably be the most obnoxious list I've ever put together. But hey, you start somewhere, starting something from nothing and dream big or go home, except if you're already home. But apart from all that fun stuff, you can then also expect, productions like cracking themselves in the background. You can't see them, but they're having a blast. But apart from that stuff, you have more amazing content from ordinary people doing extraordinary things in the world. You're gonna see more about tribe members, hear more of their stories. And one of them is actually a TED speaker, and he'll be joining us soon. We've got some really amazing tribe members. So I'm gonna go through the Rolodex in the coming shows throughout the rest of the year. Like I said, 4 months to go. And yeah, so you guys have a lot of like exciting stuff that you guys can look forward to as we keep the show going and so on and so forth. Now I want to go into thought of the week. Like I said, this show is not going to be particularly long, but there's something in my mind. It's been running in my mind, and one of the things, so some of you might not know this about me, but I'm a poet. And I'm not doing all of this other stuff. I'm actually a writer and a poet. And a couple of months ago, I wrote a poem actually inspired by entrepreneurs and what we call hashtag economic warriors in the tribe, call each other economic warriors. And so a couple of months ago, I was feeling a little emo for all my fellow economic warriors. And I went into my little emo poetry corner and I wrote this poem. So the thought of the week is going to be preambled by this poem. So just go with me. You know, life is a journey, and some of the best journeys are ones where you just sort of meander a little bit, and then you're like, oh wow, the promised land. You see. So meander with me a little bit. Enjoy the scenic route that I'm taking to get to the point that I'm going to take. And I sincerely hope that it lands the way that I have it in my head. But this poem is called Economic Warriors. So I'm gonna go right into it, and then we can chat a bit about this. There's a specific message that I really want to talk to. I really want to chat to you guys about today. And it's also, before I get into that, it's also really at the heart of the show, and why I specifically wanted to do this particular show, and I wanted to do in this way where it's my show, but it really is about everybody other than myself for like 95% of the time, except for these once in a blue moon episodes. And it's really about the fact that in each and every one of us, there's a little bit of extraordinariness. And if we lean into that extraordinariness, the world would be so much more of a better and a more beautiful place. There'd be more people just living their truest and fullest selves, living their passions, and impacting the world on a much larger scale. And imagine if we had all the millions of people in the world doing that, the amount of impact, that kind of volume would have for the entire world, for the better. And people often think that extraordinary things can only be achieved by people who are inherently extraordinary. Like they were either born into money, or they were born, savants, or like with a high IQ, or they can see the matrix or something along those lines. And the reality is that that's actually not the case, that the world is changed by ordinary people in their little corners of ordinary doing extraordinary things. The world is changed by programmers building amazing programs in their booths and in their garages. Some of the most amazing music is developed by artists who had nothing, had no equipment, and just felt something and wrote a song that then touched and permeated the world. So the world is actually changed by ordinary people who lean into that little bit of light inside them that tells them that they have a little bit of extraordinariness. And when you lean into it, it's like a seed that you plant. Anything you plant is going to grow. So if you lean into your extraordinariness, however small you believe or you might think it is, it has the ability to grow. And one day you're on the show talking about some of the amazing stuff that you're doing. So keep that in mind as once again I take you through the scenic route. Let's get into it, right? So this one is called Economic Warriors. I hope you dig it. It's a bit of a tongue twister, so I hope I get it right. Chaos creates opportunity for those who can see with impunity, the ones who can hear past the noise and see through the toys, the ones who carry the economy in their hearts and wear it on their sleeves. They bleed so the rest of us can eat, not ruled by greed because they understand we all lose if they cheat. They stand at the forefront of the fire and bear the brunt of the heat. They don't crowdsource their self-esteem through tweets. Instead, they plant seeds and know they'll never fully reap what they sow. But the trees will grow, the wind will blow, and change will show. This is for you, the economic warrior, stone cold soldier, tenacious small business owner, economic organ donor, who walk on water even when ye are of little faith. They power through pain and push through the rain, go against the grain, break through chains, work through strain, the power of faith. They take pride in what they have made, the sacrifices laid and the lives that they have changed. They talk when their voices are shaken. They walk when blinded by the unknown. They act when paralyzed by instability. They bet on themselves even when the odds are against them. They put their best foot forward despite the rejection. They work through loss and grief even if they have spent the night crying themselves to sleep. They listen to things unsaid. They read a room like reading a book because they check for a pulse first. They hear before they are heard, feel before they are felt for, and care for before they are cared for. They carry the weight of the world on their shoulders so we don't have to. This is for you. Yes, you, the magic makers, path creators, seers in the dark, the risk takers, innovators, inventors, future demonstrators, vision generators, the builders of something from nothing, the finders of beauty in ugly, the diamonds in the rough, the job producer, livelihood givers, food on the table putters. Remember that Nelson Mandela spent 27 years of his prime in one place, but was somehow still walking to freedom, which is to say, real progress is not always physical, but sometimes spiritual. Remember that you're stronger than you think, that your shoulders are broader, your stride is longer, your voice is louder than you think, so you can handle whatever life throws at you. Remember that the world needs you. You're at the center of all of the answers to all of the questions the world has. And as lonely as it gets or feels, remember that you are never alone. There is an army of soldiers, a legion of warriors, a pride of lions, a gaggle of geese, a soar of eagles, a family of lovers, a gang of motivators, investors, and supporters, rooting and cheering you on every step of the way. So keep on keeping on, because in you is a passion that can ignite the world, a power that can unite it, and a purpose that can and will change it for the better for everyone. This to you, my economic warrior. You know, with these virtual games, you gotta give your own snaps now. You don't got the crowd snapping for you. Like hype yourself up and whatnot. But yeah, right. So that's you know, one of the great things about being a poet, that my favorite thing about being a poet is that when you write the material, you write it in a particular frame of mind, and you actually believe the words that you're putting down. But then, you know, sometimes you wake up in the morning, you have a bad day or something like that, and you stop believing some of these things. So one of the beauty of like writing stuff down and being a poet is that when you go back to what you read and then you read it again, you actually then remind yourself of all the things that you believe that life tried to trick you into disbelieving. And because, you know, when you deliver poetry, you have to deliver it in a particular kind of way. And just like read it or just like say it like I don't feel it or mean it, right? So you say it with so much intent that when you're done, you've like literally hyped yourself up. Like you've literally hyped, like now I'm hyped and I'm like, woo, economic warriors, world domination, we're gonna own YouTube, let's do this. You know, and it's like 5:30 in the evening where I'm at. I need to be winding myself down, up to like turn myself up. But anyways, so that's the poem. Now, the line that I actually wanted to highlight actually, and this is probably my favorite analogy of the whole poem, and I think, and I'm going to break it down to you guys in terms of what it actually means to me, but really what I meant it to be. It's the line where I go, remember, and you see how when I say remember, I'm like dramatic pause, just letting you in on some industry secret, dramatic pause. Remember, Nelson Mandela spent 27 years of his prime in one place, but was somehow still walking to freedom, which is to say, real progress is not always physical, but sometimes spiritual and mental. And I was chatting, and I was reminded of these words, and I was chatting, I was preparing, I was like, what am I going to share as my thought of the week? And I'm thinking about, okay, progress and everything. And it reminded me, you know, and the reason why this is like my favorite, and it's probably my most favorite analogy in this particular poem. And it reminded me of a discussion I was having with my friend about what this line actually means in this particular poem. But it is that oftentimes when you start something from nothing, there's so much like tireless time, there's money, there's effort, there's commitment that goes into it. And you're pouring yourself into this thing, but your immediate surroundings are not catching up as fast, like I'm not catching up fast enough. When you start something from nothing, when you decide I'm going to start a business, I'm going to work on this project, I'm going to give back to my community, I'm going to start an NGO, you know, for disadvantaged kids. When you start, you know, an entrepreneurial haven for entrepreneurs across the globe, and you set out to save the global economy one small business at a time. When you do all these amazing things, right? A lot of the times, the real progress that you see will not actually be tangible progress that you can touch and feel. It won't be your immediate surroundings or your material possessions. And that's really what I meant when I spoke about this, that it always reminds me that my immediate surroundings and material possessions cannot be the judge and jury of my progress. Like, my progress cannot be measured by those things, because oftentimes when you start something from nothing, those things don't actually exist. It's not like you set out to build a house and you have it tomorrow. You set out to start a business and you're going to be buying a car, paying off the house, taking your kids to the best private schools in the country, traveling the world. And those are all like material surroundings and whatnot, right? That are often indicators of progress or success. But when you start something from nothing, 9 out of 10 times, those things are not there. It's like you're spending tireless hours, you're doing all the calls you can make, you're sending out emails, you're doing all the networking, meetings after meetings, connections after connections, you're reading every book you can read, taking everybody's advice, you're watching all these YouTube videos. Hard slog, you know what I mean? And you're giving away a lot of value, not always receiving the same value in return. It's a hard slog and it takes a lot of time. And so the material stuff takes a while to actually catch up to the fact that spiritually and mentally and emotionally, there's actually been a lot of progress that has taken place. And that the fact that along the way, you're actually growing and improving mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and that the real progress is not necessarily all of that tangible stuff, but that the tangible stuff will follow in due time. When you've laid the foundation to build the house, when you've laid the foundation to build the teams, when you've laid the foundations to connect you with the right people to save, the global economy one small business at a time. A lot of the time, the material, the tangible stuff that is now evidence of that progress will follow in due time. It will follow in due course. And my message to you, my thought of the week, is that your job is to stay on track. Get your compass out and stay true. Keep true and keep walking to your version of freedom, your version of whatever your dream is. And that's why I say Nelson Mandela spent 27 years of his prime, not like he's like random teen somewhere or like his 60s and like his retirement time, of his prime, 27 years of his prime in prison, in one place, not even, never mind prison, let's not make it political, in one place, but was somehow still walking to freedom, still writing these amazing books, coming up with these amazing ideologies. The man was moving. The man was stuck in one place in the 2x3 or however, big those cells are. Those things are tiny. Vince Robin Island, things are tiny. In one place with the same routine, but the man was moving, which is why I say it is to say that real progress is not always physical progress that is tangible, but it's sometimes mental, it's sometimes spiritual, it's sometimes emotional maturity. And that's really is the progress that matters and the progress that counts, because the tangible stuff will follow in due time if you stay on track. And remember, that none of us, life is a journey, that, whatever journey you're on, however long you've been doing what you've been doing, if you're sitting on the cusp and you're like, I really want to do something, I want to, start a business, I want to do more freelance work, I want to quit my job, I want to do this, I want to do that. When you start embarking on that journey, you must also understand that as time goes, you're not the same person you were when you started the journey. I spoke to Nestine and Peter in the first episode. They've been doing what they've been doing for over a year now. I guarantee you now, they are not the same people they were when they started the journey. They've learned so much and grown so much. The model has changed. The people they've met, so much has changed, right? And that is progress. That matters. I spoke to Chris in episode 2, and some of the stuff that he's been working on the back end that we didn't even get to talk about in the show, that he started doing also a year ago. And he's still doing now. And the model is, he's not the same person. Like, we're not the same people we're going to be 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line. And that is genuine progress. And that's progress that matters, because the material surroundings and material positions will follow in due time if you keep the hustle. So, always remember that. Always remember that as you're moving along in your journey, whatever your long walk to freedom is, whatever your promised land is, whatever your dream is, that's what you are long walking to freedom to. That's your version of the long walk to freedom. Nelson had his, I've got mine, you have yours. You got to focus on that one. And remember that the real and true progress will oftentimes be very much intangible. It will be the kid who comes to training the first one to come to training, the last one to leave training, and still not get picked for the match day squad on Saturday. But the kid is grinding, he's working. And with the second he gets picked, guess what? He's going to be an overnight success. Everyone's like, oh my God, where did this kid come from? You know, but like this homie's been grinding. First one to arrive, last one to leave, hasn't been picked for years. And the second he gets his opportunity, doors start to swing open for this guy. And that's what you need to, you know, keep in mind. And always remember, and this is, you know, the last bit that's really important about the idea of intangible progress is that oftentimes that progress will be insignificant to anyone other than yourself. More often than not, the progress you're making will not be seen by anyone else, known by anyone else, valued by anyone else. It will not be of worth to anybody else. Other people might not value it or see it or care about it, you know, whatever. And that's okay. You just get your compass out. See, this is the reason why I got a compass over here, actually. Get your compass out and you stay true. You know, stay true on that mission. It actually does that. It doesn't move though, because, you know, I'm a human being. It doesn't move, but it is a compass on my wrist. So just like keep that in mind, you know, through everything that you're going through. And this will be very important, you know, especially for entrepreneurs. Like I said, when you start from the ground up and you're building websites, you're making logos, you're doing your cold calls, you're doing all this, it's a hard slog. Like you're genuinely working, but your bank account is not actually showing the value that you're putting out into the world. It's a hard thing to discuss. It's a hard thing to realize. It's a hard thing to explain to people around you. But dude, like you're like the first one to wake up at home and in the home office. You're the last one to sleep. But like that bank account is not contributing like everybody else is in this household. So, you know, like what's happening with this plant you are watering? You know what I'm saying? And then you have to answer those questions. That's why I say that to not be deterred by those people and by those comments and by that ideology or philosophy, because the progress is being made. But progress will not always be recognized by anyone other than yourself. And then when the doors swing open and opportunities are coming, the bank account can't keep it up to date with the digits that's coming in. So many transactions that are going in and out of that homie. You know what I mean? Then now, oh, you're an overnight success. Oh, where does this come from? Whoa, who is this person who's winning all these awards? What are these accolades? Who is this unicorn? What's this owning YouTube? Where did these guys come from? Nobody was there when you were the first one in the home office, last one to go to bed, and the one contributing the least and having to answer difficult questions when you would rather just be working. So keep that in mind, let that drive you all the time. And like I say, you keep at it, you keep true, right? Your job is to stay on track and keep your long walk to your version of freedom. Whatever that for you is, it might not even be financial, it might be some other stuff that you're looking for. If you stay true and you keep walking to that thing, never mind the material things, never mind the immediate surroundings, because those things will lie on your ass. I know that for a fact. They won't lie on you and they won't betray you if you look at those things as indicators of your progress. You know, and then when they do follow, and trust me, they will follow, because if you keep doing your doing, you keep your hustle going, something's got to give. You know, people will start taking your meetings just so you stop calling and emailing them. And I used to do like cold calls and cold emails. I've had people take my meetings, and then the first thing is like, if you stop talking, we'll take the meeting. Well, if you stop emailing, we'll take the meeting. I've had that happen before, right? And production is going mad because they know exactly what I'm talking about. Janine's actually here with us today, so she knows exactly because she does virtual sales. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. That sometimes you keep knocking on that door, you know, people don't want to let you in, or you're just going to break that door, or you'll find a window to Jimmy. You know, that's just their reality. Jimmy a window and get in. Once you're in, you know, then they have to kick you out. But by the time they kick you out, you've done your elevator pitch, you'll have dropped up your company profile, and you'll have picked up some information about the next, you know, in the process, the next HR brief. So by the time they get you out of, you know, the building, you'll have already like dropped off a CV or some, right? Or like earmarked where HR's office is. So the next time when you break in, or like Jimmy a window, you know exactly where HR is. You can straight directly there their desk. Yeah. But that's just my thought of the week. I really hope it adds some sort of value to you, and that you enjoyed that one. Like I said, this is just me. Every 4 or so episodes, you'll get a bit of this kind of stuff, just like where I share a bit of my journey. And I'm not gonna just sit here and talk about me. So as you follow the journey, you'll get tidbits about me. You'll get to actually see, what I'm about and what I do and why I say the stuff that I say. Because this particular lesson for me is a hella very close to my heart. And I'm not even done learning it. I'm still learning it. But life is like that, right? You learn as you go, build the plane as you're flying it. But as I'm learning, I'm letting you know that, the real progress is more often than not, the one that matters is internal, it's intangible. Because this business might fail, but the next business you get to, fam, you're gonna be so much better because you've gone through the failure and the embarrassment of a business failing. So failure to you is okay, fine, they took the car, or I had to downsize my family, whatever, fine, okay. But now a failure does nothing to me, bring it on. Risk does nothing to me, I can still think clearly. But even if the business does go down, the next time you come back, you're better, you're more agile, you know what to look for, and you know what to look for in a failing business. I'm making all these random examples, but that's another thing that I've also learned that I can take to my next businesses. Now I know what to look for before business fails. I can tell you now that your business is going to fail in 6 months because of A, B, C, D. I've been through some stuff like that. So you get better as you go, which is why I say that the progress is intangible and it matters equally, if not more, than the tangible progress that we often look for as indicators of success. I'm going to drop mic on that one. I hope you got it. If not, you can replay it. That's the beauty of what we do here, not with television. You can replay, pause, have a coffee, be like, whoa, truth bombs, all that beautiful stuff, right? You can actually make a reaction video to this thing, actually. What the top would that be? Make a reaction video to my video. But yeah, but beautiful people, that's me, that's Mo Malele. Like I said, remember, that homie spent 27 years in one place, but he was moving while the rest of us were like, whoa, where do we go and how do we get this freedom thing? But he was already walking towards it, very clearly and vividly, and just stayed true. So when you read that line or you hear it, think of that, right? And lastly, as we're in, the next time I see you will be September. And I just realized this, that good luck, we only have 4 months before the date changes forever, right? Before the date changes again, and then it stays that way for the next 300 or whatever many days. So go back to those lists that you made at the beginning of the year and see where you're at with them lists and see how many of those things you can chuck out, in the next 4 months. I carry my list in my wallet because I'm very attached to my visions and whatnot. So I carry them everywhere I go. So go back to them and check them. I just open them up and see where you are. What have you taken? What have you not taken? Don't let the year go to waste. COVID has already taken too much away from a lot of us, but don't let it take any more than it needs to. So go back to that list and see how many of those things you can check out. It's 4 months to the end of the year. Make sure you're using that time wisely, and actually getting stuff done, that you're moving forward and that you're progressing. My name has been Mo Malele. Well, my name is Mo Malele. This has been the Mo Malele Show. It's that time where I get to do this stuff, right? So I'm like, yo, everybody out there on the interwebs, can you just drop your comments and your questions and share and and do all that stuff? It's that time of the show. So y'all show a homie some love, show homies hustle some love, myself and the wonderful people that are ProTech by liking and sharing this video and doing the things that make the algorithm like us a lot more than it already does. And yeah, as always, I wish 3 things for you: that you stay safe, that you stay sane, and that you stay blessed. I'm Mo Malele, the Mo Malele Show, where ordinary people do extraordinary things, and we just showcase that. Have a blessed one. Bye.